stay calm.
What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm!
Wait.
Everybody calm down!
Holy crap on a stick. It is actually happening. Actual nerfs to the T25 Chieftain and the object 279 early or 726, but I thought Wargaming has no balls to do this. But apparently, they still have a little bit of a balls. A little bit. Alright folks, Supertest preview, vehicle changes and rebalances. So vehicles are being tweaked, standard, premium, and reward are available on the chopping block. So except artillery or EBRs, they get missed out. Alright, let's take a look at the actual stats changes, but no BZ-176 though. Oof. Okay. Jumbo Pershing, top speed, reverse speed, dispersion while moving. That's dramatic too. Like 0.22 to 0.15. That's pretty good. Hull traverse, accuracy, baseline, and aim time. This thing doesn't need a buff. It's already good enough. Holy crap. That's insane. That's a very hefty buff for a vehicle you could buy with bonds in the bond shop. So it already has good DPM, but now better accuracy, better aim time, better dispersion and mobility too. It's a very good bond tank in the bond shop. Holy crap, just buy this thing. Wait, is it the standard version? Wait, it's only the standard version, not the Patriot version. So the camo doesn't work, right? The camo version doesn't get the buff? Oh, that's unfortunate. That sucks. It might be the camo version as well. Otherwise, it's kind of stupid, right? It's really stupid if it's not the camo version. Okay, you can buy it in the bond shop, so it's highly worthwhile. So right here, but 8,000 bonds for this vehicle after the buff, still pretty good. Holy crap. Alright, AMX M4, model 1949. Hull traverse speed, okay. Dispersion while moving, not bad. I mean, still not as good as the Jumbo Pershing, but still. View range by 20, that's good. Aim time, dramatic, 2.9 to 2.5, that's also pretty decent. Dispersion while traversing the turret, hefty. No DPM buff, unfortunate, and no armor buff for the turret. So the tumor is still tumorish, but it's not as good as the Jumbo Pershing. It's alright, but yeah, the tumor is a big weak spot. Still has not as much DPM, but better aim time now. So that's a plus, and better dispersion. No mobility buff though, too. Yeah, you do have better view range, but no mobility buff. Yeah, 20 more meters of view range is kind of important. Alright, that's fine. But yeah, the Jumbo Pershing feels dramatic compared to this thing. Alright, next. T25 Pilot. Standard shell pen by 16. Gold shell pen to 25. Better shell velocity, and that's it. No mobility. No armor package, even though it doesn't have armor, but this vehicle is already power crept to hell and back at that point, or at this point, but 192 millimeters of pin for a 90 millimeter at tier 8. It has somewhat of a DPM. Not really. I have a rammer on. Aim time's good. Accuracy is mediocre, but still traverse like a medium, so that's good. Has the view range too, but no armor. It gets better standard and gold shell, but shell velocity is not dramatic enough, like 200 or 300 more meters per second, so still if. Still kind of if. You just buff to the current levels or standard average levels from the dumpster. The dumpster of a valley of a grind for this thing. Same goes with the patent KR. Yeah, pretty much. About the same penetration too, but this thing has a little bit more DPM at the cost of accuracy and aim time. Oof. Alright. No patent KR on here. Centurions, slight buff on hull traverse and movement, so after the Centurion Mark I got buff on the normal tech tree, the premium versions never got the actual buff, so apparently they get the buff now. I mean, it's pretty big, but I still think the buffs to the normal Centurions are a little bit more dramatic, especially for the tier 10. Action X Centurion gets a huge buff like 2 or 3 patches ago. Same goes with Strv 81, it's a Centurion, yada yada. FV4201 Dispersion, view range, DPM slightly, alright. It's still being power crapped. I mean, originally it was a tier 10. Now it's a dumpster fire of a freaking vehicle. DPM gets slightly better. I have a rammer and it's only at 2000 DPM. Holy crap. Alright, better by half a second. So slightly more. Better view range, dispersion while moving. It's 0.2? Holy crap, that's bad for a medium. It's a lot better now while moving. So it should be a lot more accurate, but yeah, DPM is still kinda if after the half a second reload time buff. It's still about 6.3 or so. It's still good enough. This thing is far cry from what it originally was. So, alright. Turtle Mark 1. Ooh, a lot. Top speed, reverse speed, dispersion while moving. Wow, that is dramatic. Standard shell penetration by 16mm. That is pretty hefty. And gold shell by 17. Shell velocity dramatic too. Armor does not get a buff though, so still decent enough armor, but not as trollish as the TS5 in that matter. So I mean, standard shell pen gets 240mm now, and he still has the DPM and aim time and accuracy, so shell velocity is also a big deal too. Yeah, 792 meters per second is not great. Yeah, it needs that shell velocity buff to about 1000. Turtle is actually getting a hefty buff, but FV4202, it's more like average of a buff, like 5 out of 10. This thing is more like a 7 out of 10 for a buff. If it gets armor package, then 10 out of 10. This one's like a 2 or 3 out of 10 for the Centurions. T25 Pilot gets like a, I say 4 out of 10, but it needs the mobility. Better top speed will help. This thing gets like maybe 5 out of 10. I would say 5 out of 10. This thing gets like a 7 out of 10 buff for the Jumbo Pershing. Alright, normal tanks. Those were the premium. No BZ 176 on the chopping block. Alright. Churchill I. Nobody plays them, mostly because of the sponson on the tracks. You shoot the tracks, you damage the vehicle and the track without even them angling, so that sucks. Alright, dispersion, aim time. Not dramatic, it's fine, but not dramatic. Doesn't get a turret buff, otherwise it'll be like a Black Prince, so meh. Churchill Mark VII. Top speed, welcome. It's slow. Accuracy while moving, better aim time. Dispersion while turning the turret, meh. It's okay, but it's not crazy. Still shoot the sponsor and you'll detrack. Top speed, dispersion, DPM for the 17-pounder. Aim time. Oh, I sold all my Churchills, mostly because they were hot garbage. Pretty much, but the Black Prince I kept. It's still better than the Churchills, mostly because of turret armor, and it doesn't have the sponson weak spot anymore with the tracks, but yeah, better DPM with the 17-pounder, right? 17-pounder. It's only one gun on this thing, but that's pretty decent when you think about better top speed too. I have a turbocharger. It's already slow, so that's why I put a turbocharger on this thing, but rapid firing gun with somewhat decent DPM, now with more DPM. It's a little bit more hefty for the Black Prince compared to the Churchills. AMX AC model 46 at tier 7. 20 more millimeter at the hull front. Interesting. You still have a commander cupola weak spot and the loader cupola weak spot, but aim time buff dramatically. Dispersion while moving the hull and traversing. Doesn't get a actual DPM buff though. It's okay of a tank destroyer, but it's no Yak Panther in my liking. It still has the penetration though. It is still a high power 100mm. So penetration is still good for a tier 7, but this thing doesn't have the DPM. It has the better aim time now, but DPM still kind of F. It should be about 2,500 for a tier 7 tank destroyer. It's not a fully trained crew, but still. Tier 7 tank destroyer, they usually have a lot of DPM. 2,500 about. Same goes with the Yak Panther. 2,750, holy crap. Yeah, about 2,500 is about the average or so. Unless you have, holy crap, oh, this thing has about 3,000. Yeah, unless you're playing the armored vehicles like with the Italian tank destroyers, you should have a lot of DPM, like a lot. Doesn't say well for the Hellcat or the Scorpion. Ugh, ick. Okay, they have a turret or pseudo turrets, whatever. Alright, tier 8 AMX 65T. You already been shafted for like 10 patches in a row. Better upper plate. Thank God you give it better upper plate. I sold mine. It's a piece of crap. Better upper plate. Better sloping. Effective upper glacis slopes. The hell does that mean? Okay. It's the same, but I presume better sloping. Do you change the model? Effective armor. I have no idea. Just better armor. Period. I don't think they changed the model. Hull traverse. Thank God. View range. Thank God. Reload time. Thank God. Standard shell penetration by 7. The turret still sucks, especially for the Q+, but at least there's no engine buff. Crap, it's slow too. 65T is slow. It has no armor, so for now it gets slightly better armor. So hopefully they buff the crap out of it. Otherwise it's slow. 12 horsepower per ton ratio. Ugh. I mean, the terrain resistance on this thing is also pretty crap, so it never reached that top speed. But hull armor is 100mm at the front, so effectively it should be buffed to 220. Oh, it's currently 50. 150. Oh, so 50 more millimeters effective. Thank God. Otherwise, it's still a big piece of crap. It's like playing with the Lorraine 50T, except you're not as fast and the turret is not as good. Ick. It's only 180mm effective on some parts of the freaking turret. Oh god, that's gross. Yeah, it needs an armor buff at least. Give it also an engine buff, but they're not going to. Alright, VK4502. ausf. There's a lot, holy crap. Dispersion, reload time for the 105. Dispersion for the 105. I should buy mine back. I sold mine for the tier 9, but aim time, better health, junction of the upper plate, effective armor. Ooh, that is pretty good. From like 190 or so to 260mm effective turret, as well as the upper plate. That is pretty good. Cheeks of the turret by 20. That's 120 for the side of the cheeks. It's not for the main frontal plate. That's pretty good. I should buy mine back. Well, it's anniversary week, so there might be a sale. I should buy mine back. But I like my tier 9. I sold mine a long time ago for the tier 9. Don't have money back then. But yeah, if they're going to buff the mobility, well, keeping the mobility, but still keeping the actual armor, or keeping the armor, but buffing the mobility. Oh, god damn it. Buffing the armor while keeping the mobility. There we go. That's pretty good for a medium tank hunter of a heavy tank. Originally, this vehicle was fast to hunt down medium tanks, but doesn't have the armor. Now it gets better armor at the hull front and the turret front. Turret front is only 185. That is kind of garbo. It's more of a medium, like large medium tank at this point. Yeah, holy crap. This might be worthwhile yet again. They're also buffing the aim time and accuracy and the DPM of the 105. Or using the 88. yeah, it might be time to rebuy back this vehicle. Holy crap, that's a lot of buffs. T69 giggity, dispersion, aim time. Oh my god, aim time was 2.9? That sucks. Standard shell penetration, still 200mm. Special shell bump up for high explosive anti-tank to 280. And reload time gets buffed, thank god, but 3 seconds better of a reload time. It needs a mobility buff at this stage, from what I feel the T69. It's still kinda slow, but has somewhat troll-ish of a turret. Somewhat. I mean, if you shoot the middle, it'll bounce, but yeah, I would say better top speed to like 60 and better horsepower per ton ratio to like 20 horsepower per ton ratio. I mean, better DPM is welcome, as well as the penetration, but 200mm of pen is okay, but 280 for the gold shell is what's keeping this thing alive or competitive. Alright, Pershing gets a buff. Aim time, dispersion, standard shell penetration is dramatic. That's a plus. And DPM, dramatic too. It doesn't get the mobility, but Pershing is alright. I like mine, but yeah, better DPM means, holy crap, it might be, and better penetration too, by like 22mm. That is pretty good for the 90mm. Same goes with the aim time, dispersion too. For the base accuracy, that's base accuracy. It already has good dispersion while moving, but that's pretty good too. Mobility is still somewhat slow for a Pershing, but still workable. Top speed is not as good as you want it, but then again, it's American, so it's not as fast. Alright. Bulldog. Standard shell pen, gold shell pen, reload time, dispersion, and aim time. No 10-round autoloader. God damn it. Give us back the 76 with the 10-round autoloader. That would be great. No, you don't get that. Never. Never again. Alright. I still like my Bulldog, but 10 rounds of autoloader means it has the same same burst as the AMX 5100, except you're firing a lot of pebbles. A lot of pebbles. It already has decent DPM. I put a rammer on mine. Focus on damage dealing, but it gets better DPM now. Alright, and better pen too. It's not scouting light tank, it's a combat light tank. So you're still being outspotted by the ELC EVN. So might as well deal the damage. Play it like a medium instead, but people on your team will complain you're not scouting. Yeah, okay. AT-15, top speed, reverse speed, dispersion, armor behind the mantlet. That's big. You still have the weak spot, but you still have the garbage hull. I mean, you can just shoot the slope on the hull, unlike the tortoise, and you'll still pin. So AT-15. Does the premium version get buffed? The AT-15A version? I doubt it, but yeah, you can just shoot right here. That's only 200mm. That's a weak spot. That is obvious weak spot. You can also shoot the flat surfaces near the gun if you have a high caliber gun, but yeah, it's only 200 for the upper plate, so that's nothing at tier 8. Not really. Heavy tanks will go through this upper plate. Everybody will shoot at your cupola too. That's a whole dramatic can of worms with the tortoise, if you're going to compare the armor of such a thing. So tortoise, it has a lot more effective armor on this thing. So it doesn't get the weak upper plate. Upper plate is about 250. It's sloped. It's 270 for this part and 280. So you have to shoot the smaller loader cupola. This is actually loader. I have my loader die a few times getting hit right here. But yeah, the armor is alright, but I still don't think your upper plate is being buffed. And okay, still fine. I mean, the mantlet is still a thing, so it's a little bit better now, but better top speed, better dispersion. 110 reload time for the 100mm. Dispersion, not much for the dispersion or the base accuracy. Aim time buff. Lower plate gets a little bit better, so that's a plus. Wait, upper plate is already pretty much auto bounce if you don't angle. DPM gets buffed. I wonder, how good is the lower plate now if you're buffing the lower plate? it originally was the weak spot compared with the IS-3, but upper plate was the auto bounce. It already has decent enough DPM with a rammer, but now even better with a 100mm. So DPM machine, but let's see, lower plate currently is the weak spot. 200mm, so a little bit better. Slope downwards, but upper plate is 240-ish, 250-ish. It's pretty good for a tier 8 in terms of pike haul front, but 230, 220. So don't angle this vehicle. You have a better pike nose than the IS-3. You have a weaker lower plate than the IS-3 though. Alright, not bad. And obviously tier 10s, WZ-113 GFT, tier 10 tank destroyer. Horsepower per ton, dramatic. Top speed, dramatic. Not dramatic enough, but okay, it's better than nothing. Shell velocity is dramatic. Yeah, base shell velocity for the AP round is garbage on the Chinese tank destroyers. DPM gets buffed too. Accuracy gets buffed. Not bad. Not well, mostly the shell velocity. Shell velocity on that thing is utter garbage. But yeah, shell velocity is not great. What's the shell velocity? Like 700? 760. Oh, gross. So better DPM, better mobility. It is like an ISU 152 at tier 10 practically, but yeah, the shell velocity is dramatic, as well as the horsepower per ton ratio. The armor is not that great. I mean, armor could bounce a few shots, but not if they're spamming all gold shells. Not really. And you also have a commander cupola weak spot too. Not a lot of people know about this, but yeah, just spam all the gold shell into this thing. So you're playing an ISU at tier 10 practically. Except you have better armor than the actual ISU. About 290, but gold shell will go through. Everybody spams gold at tier 10. So a little bit more ubiquitous compared to the mantlet on the ISU, but still, gold shell will go through. And still, I will welcome it. I definitely welcome it. I would rather play this thing like a sniper than the actual assault guns, like the Italians or the Japanese. But Japanese doesn't have the whole armor. Alright. Oh no. Another nerf for the 268 version number 4. Oh god. Why? Top speed, horsepower per ton ratio, health, rangefinder cover. What the hell is a rangefinder cover? Is that the little rangefinder cupola armor thing? It gets another nerf for the 268. Well, everybody plays it super aggressively, I guess. Oh no. I think that little rangefinder gets nerfed. But then again, it's 210. It says it's 210mm. Wow. Yeah, that's still pretty good, but that is the main weak spot. Everybody shoots right here, or shoot the lower plate if you're able to, but still. If. All right. Horsepower per ton ratio is big. Top speed is real big. 40 now instead of 50. Get better hull traverse though. Well, Jesus, this thing has been nerf batted like constantly since inception. Oh god. I mean, it is a pretty good vehicle originally. Originally it has like super mobility and even armor, as well as the DPM. Also, I think they nerfed the DPM like sometimes back, but holy crap. ST2 or STII with the double turrets or double guns. Double turret. The turret traverse buffed by 7 degrees, pretty big. Turret front, turret plus mantlet by 30mm. You don't shoot the mantlet. You shoot the little commander cupola or big commander cupola. Reload time between each shot is 1 second more. Reload time gets buffed. I like mine, but it's a very niche STI at tier 10. So it's a STI, but it has 2 guns practically. Where the hell is my ST2? But yeah, it's a lot more fun playing the STI at tier 9 compared to this thing. Everybody just shoot the commander cupola. You have better turret front armor now, but okay. Just play the STI at tier 9. It's a lot more fun compared to this thing, surprisingly. but all my good crew go to the tier 10 for no reason. Alright, so that's welcome. Uh-oh, VZ55. Does it get nerfed? It gets nerfed. Okay. Reload time between shots by half a second. Total reload time up by 3 seconds. Aim time also nerfed. It was too popular. Of course it was too popular. Okay. DPM gets nerfed. Aim time gets nerfed. It's one of the popular because of the autoloader. If you're using the single shot, then I have nothing to say. You're crazy using a single shot on this thing. But you could actually, that might make the single shot more viable if they're going to nerf the DPM of the autoloader. But why using the single shot? You're putting yourself at a disadvantage. You might as well play a T10 at that point, or WZ 5A, 111-5A at that point. Yeah, this thing was about the autoloader. It was never about the single shot 130. Oh well, I mean, it was popular. If you're too popular, you get nerfed. And speaking of getting super nerfed, finally we're reaching the Chieftain and the Object 279 early. Top speed by 6. Dramatic. Hull traverse, somewhat. DPM is dramatic. Special shell penetration. That's a gold shell. So everybody spams gold if you have a Chieftain running around. Same goes with the 279 early, but yeah, DPM nerf is pretty big. Holy crap, yeah, pretty big. 1.5 seconds longer to reload. Oh, delicious. Sweet, salty tears of Clan War players. Okay. And sweet, salty tears of those who rig for this thing. Thank God. Well, if you have it, unfortunate for all your efforts. You get a DPM nerf, health nerf, top speed nerf, and gold shell pin nerf. It still keeps the armor. DPM might be the biggest change for this thing. Same goes with top speed. Okay. I don't know how I feel about the nerfs to the Chieftain, but it's time. Time to move aside for stuff like the main battle tank B or the recent 𝗵𝗵𝗴𝗲𝗀 07PE. But there you go, folks. 30 minutes of talking about stats while looking at a blank or just a normal screen page. Normal web page. So the biggest change, in my honest opinion, is obviously the tier 10s, the special tier 10s. VZ55 is kind of big. ST2 is not really that dramatic. People will still play other stuff. This is kind of dramatic for the 268 version number 4. Kind of dramatic, but not really for the WZ113 GFT. It's still a niche vehicle, but it's a little bit more competitive now, especially with better horsepower per ton ratio and better top speed, better DPM too, and accuracy. So this might be a little bit more effective. You have a better time playing with this thing. So, okay, ST2. 110 is alright, but nobody plays the 110. I don't see a lot of 110s. I don't see a lot of 1815s. I do see a lot of freaking garbage 65T because of the on track. Or was it the 65T? Oh no, it was a Japanese Type 5. That was right. Nobody plays with it. Play with this. So it might be worthwhile to buy back the VK 4502 piece of ausf version. Worthwhile to have a 110 if you don't already have one. Pershing and T69 are niche, but I like my Pershing, I like my T69. I collect a lot of the tanks, so meh. I only recommend the Black Prince out of all these 4 at lower tier. So Black Prince is like pretty good turret armor, just slow. It's a little bit faster now. And for the gold vehicles or premium vehicles, Jumbo Pershing, not a bad keep. Turtle is a lot more effective now. The rest is debatable, but yeah, debatable. I mean, the next one is probably the AMX M4 out of all of these. So, biggest buff to the Jumbo Pershing and the Turtle out of all of these. But no BZ-176, no EBRs, no artillery. Well, there you go, folks. 30 minutes of me talking about random crap. So, hopefully, you get your plays in with your Chieftain or Object 279 early. before the actual nerf, or the 268 version number 4. Otherwise, oof. It still will be about like 2 months plus, so this thing hasn't reached the common test yet, so it'll still be a while for you to get your marks and other stuff, but it's been a while. Time to move on. Well, as always, thank you guys for watching this video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.